Good morning, everybody. Wow, nice vibe in the room this morning. So I'm going to call the meeting to order. And if we could have a roll call, please.
Member Cahill?
Here.
Vice Chair Garcia?
Here.
Member Evans? Here. Member LaPlante?
Here.
Member Cover? Chair Rutledge?
Here. Thank you, everyone. For my chairwoman's remarks this morning, I just wanted to recognize Kay McKean. She was featured in the Naperville magazine that comes in the Sunday Tribune. Very nice article that they wrote about Kay and all she does at Scarce. So not last Sunday, Sunday before it was. So if you still got that hanging around, it's really a lovely magazine to begin with, and then to be showcased, that's a cool thing. Then the other thing I wanted to talk about this morning, let me get my phone out, is that I noticed an article again in the Tribune that electricity generated from renewables surpassed coal in the United States for the first time in 2022. So that was a really fun thing. Next is public comment. David.
Okay, just to be real brief, International Dark Sky has changed their name. They're now called Dark Sky, so don't be confused. Sorry. In April, I spoke to River Forest about light pollution to the Sustainability Committee, and they were unaware, and then they realized it's already been changed here. We've got bright white LEDs. So they asked, what can I do? We're going to focus to start on residents. They're going to start publishing newsletters on what all the residents can do. And then we're going to consider educating their commercial district. And we're going to talk about retrofitting the lights they already have. Two of the things that I talk about now in all the meetings I go to are about PubMed, which is the National Library of Medicine. They do artificial light at night studies, and those are going up this year to date, 600 in the first quarter. So that's 2,400. Last year was 1,600, the year before 1,400, and 20 years ago it was 50. So these are all just opportunities for scientists to tell you what you shouldn't have done. So I talk about narrowband lighting because now it's available commercially, and you can actually replace your sodium bulbs with narrowband and not having light. The other thing is educating residents because LEDs are confusing. Very confusing. I mean, you used to know 25 watt got you this, 40, 60, 100. Now you have to know lumens, you have to know temperature, you have to know what it used to be like, and it's hard to find it on the package. So I'm going to go to Earth Day in Naperville and talk about that. Then I'm going to go to Scarce's May 6th event on gardens and talk about the right lighting for bugs and animals and things like that. And hopefully make it simple for you.
Can you talk to builders or contractors about when they build a new house, they all use the bright light LED? Is there a way to reach out?
Cindy, I'll answer that in just a second, actually.
Okay.
Because of David's urging, we have, I talked with Sam Tornatore, and the development committee is asking Paul Haas to develop language for dark skies ordinance. We already have a resolution.
Wonderful.
So now we're going to move forward with the ordinance, and that will address those kind of things for new contractors.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Catherine.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Some of you may know me. I'm Catherine Franczyk from the League of Women Voters, and I'm an observer here. I've been observing this meeting since 2019. So this morning, I'm representing all the leagues of DuPage and Central DuPage. And a reminder to you that we've got a wonderful event next week at Cantini. They're a great sponsor with the league, the McCormick Foundation. It's pollution community. I'm sorry, I'm going to get this screwed up. So I'm going to look at my notes here because I don't know it. I've been working so hard on it. But plastic pollution community solutions. So there's an event Wednesday night, and that is for all residents, and they're invited. You just have to go to the league site, to the Cantini site to register. But following up on that, and well, just one more thing, for the speakers for that night, it's going to be Jacqueline Kazaza from Glen Ellen, Go Green Glen Ellen, Kay McKean, Walter Willis, and Jen Walling from the Illinois Environmental Council. And then following up on Friday, we've invited municipal leaders, and many of you have received an invitation from us. Some of you have responded. We appreciate that because we do need your RSVPs. But the Friday event is a roundtable discussion, and Sheila and Joy are going to present that afternoon, and also talk about the good work of DuPage County, all the things I've been observing and all the good work that you've done, and really focusing on the plastic pollution problem. And that Friday event is on Friday morning. So just to clarify that, but I'd love to see you all there, and we look forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks, Catherine.
Mhm.
Next on the agenda this morning is I'll ask for a motion on the approval of minutes from the Tuesday, March 7th, 2023 meeting.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Parent committee approval for ENR 001523, a resolution of support for the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus Greenest Region Compact. Joy, give us a thumbnail.
Oh, sure. Did you want to do it the way that's?
I'm sorry, yes.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Joy.
Yes, good morning. So the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus Greenest Region Compact consists of 49, and there are 49 high-level goals that were created by a consensus of the caucus's members and their allied organizations. To date, 140 communities have adopted the GRC goals, which cover more than 6 million residents in the region. In addition to the municipalities, Kane, Will, Lake, and Henry counties have adopted supporting resolutions. The categories in the framework include climate, economic development, energy, land, leadership, mobility, municipal operations, sustainable communities, and water and waste and recycling. These are all areas that the county's been working in. Participation in the Greenest Region Compact will enable the county to participate in the caucus's EV readiness program and potentially qualify for future sustainability funding from the caucus.
Great to have the whole community on board with all of these things. I looked at the list and it's like, great. And I understand that stormwater passed out this morning as well. Lucy.
I just want to let you know, I do love this compact. Compact. I was thinking impact.
Yeah.
Is there a way for us to log, there's all these different categories. Is there a centralized way for us to log how we're trying to meet these goals as a county? Because I know every department works on different things, and it's nice to kind of see what kind of progress we're making and what kind of action we've taken other than saying that we agree with this.
We can start looking into that. In the past, we've done environmental progress reports. However, as you put it out, a lot of the departments are doing their own individual things. So it was very hard to try to compile that information, but hopefully now that we have Ian on board.
I was writing it down right as you started talking.
We will be able to better do that, but that's a very good point.
Great, thank you.
Great. Next on the agenda, we have a discussion on the campus cafeteria packaging follow-up.
Hello, everyone. I'm Diane Borski, Manager of Support Services at the Care Center. So if all of you know that historically we've used foam always in our cafeterias. It's always been the cheapest. It's held temperatures well. Unfortunately, not good for the environment. So we were asked to look at it and come up with alternatives. I brought some samples. What we're proposing to do is to switch to a clear number 5 plastic container that's recyclable. We've implemented those already because I know we wanted to make the switch. We were waiting for this meeting and we don't want to keep using foam. So we did make the switch a little over a month ago after we trialed them for a little bit. We've also switched to what we've been using since the cafeterias opened because of COVID. Once we reopened, we went to a paper coffee cup. Thank you, Jason, for being my model there. And then we also have switched to a paper bowl and sorry.
Wrong one, my bad. Wrong one, my bad.
A paper bowl as well as a Coke cup that it is lined. So we have that instead of a styrofoam cup. So what we're looking to do, we've already made, like I said, we've already made the changes. I know a memo was sent out so you can see the cost difference. Since COVID, since the pandemic has progressed through, foam actually has gone up like over 2-fold, which is surprising. But the recyclable and compostable type of items have actually dropped. So don't ask me why. We don't understand it either. But so it's made it a little easier for us to make the change, but unfortunately, it's still going to be a 35% increase to our budget, which is way better than it was when we looked at this 3 years ago, 2 years ago, last year. I mean, every time we looked at it, thankfully it's come down every time. So what we're looking for to actually implement this for the rest of the year. Well, to our annual budget, it's about an extra $41,000 to our operating supplies. So we're just looking for guidance from all of you what our next steps are. We've already implemented, we can sustain it for right now, but we can't sustain doing this our budget can't sustain it for the rest of the year. It's where our problem comes.
Thanks, Diane.
Thanks.
There's no vote required there. It's only.
Do you want to talk a little bit about next steps, Jason?
Yeah, I think staff is just looking for direction on if that is something that we would like to, make this a permanent shift. Again, there is going to be a cost added to it. And is that something that we're comfortable bringing at some point here to the board, obviously through this committee as well? Just ensuring that is something that will be funded and appropriated appropriately. Going forward, though, if the direction is to do this, we will ensure that it's within their budget. When we go to do the budget, they'll request that in their budget. And I think Mr. Kappmeyer might have.
So two components. One would be the 41,000 for 2023. We'd have to do a change order through board out of contingency. And then obviously when we're looking at the 24 budget, we'll work with the care center to do a fully loaded year in the 24 budget, if that's the will of the board to move forward.
Thank you, Nick. Maybe the foam makers are like last gasping because they can see the
Well,
writing
they know
on the
January
wall,
1st is
then
coming, so we'll see.
they're gonna all go away, so.
I just want to say I fully support this. I think we should definitely move forward with this. This is really important for all of us as a county to be a leader. And so I would 100% support it.
My sentiments exactly.
Yeah,
Paula.
and I agree, as you know. Does this just for the care center or is this also for the 421 building?
It's for all 3 cafeterias.
And,
All right, thank you.
The care center just manages all 3 cafeterias.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lucy,
I support this too, and I would think that the logical way to handle the increase in cost would probably be to pass it on to us customers. I don't know that we can absorb that into the cost, can we?
So the thought would be at least for 2023 to do a budget change order through finance and board for 41,000, and then we'll work with the care center. They're the experts whether it can be absorbed some component, and then we'll get the fully loaded amount in 24. It might be less to some extent. I don't know if you can fully absorb that in the prices, but we'll definitely look at that.
thank you, Lucy. Next we have presentations regarding the Fairgrounds Garden.
Good morning. So we have Jeannie Eisman here from Garden Works. After one of the meetings, there was some discussion about the county should have a garden. And we reached out to Jim McGuire and Jeannie about the fairgrounds. So what we did is we work with facilities and Jeannie and Jim to put together a map of what is currently at the fairgrounds. And then we thought it'd be nice for Jeannie to talk a little bit about the future plans, and there may at some point be a request for additional funding from ARPA for a food security project, but I will hand it over to Jeannie.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for having me. Again, I'm the executive director of the Garden Works project. It's good to see so many familiar faces of people we've partnered with over the years. So just to give you a little background, we're a volunteer-run organization that started in 2012 and fully certified 501c3 in 2014. So we've been running home gardens essentially for food insecure clients. So we work with pretty much every food pantry within the region, and we partner with them to get referrals for individuals that might be seeking a nutritional supplement to what they might be receiving from emergency food assistance. We have always gifted, and I'm so glad here to be able to be one of our examples, gifted grants to agencies, whether they're schools, community centers, townships that want to grow for themselves. and resource them with the ability to be able to grow for themselves for usually to distribute to food pantries. We decided in 2022 that we needed to have our own land. We had been in West Chicago and did not have the ability to be able to dig in the dirt. And so we partnered with the fairgrounds, and you're looking at a map of one of our spaces. Jim had actually done a lot of work, especially during the years of COVID, and probably did not get much recognition for it because everybody was indoors. But he was actually growing an orchard, an area for some berry bushes. He has some grapes. He also even has some hop vines, all educational opportunities for individuals to be able to learn about what really modern ag looks like in DuPage County, because obviously we don't have agriculture per se by and large. So we came in and decided to take on some of those plots between the pollinators and the trees. And it was our pilot year. It was really just an opportunity for us to try it out for the first year with them and see how the partnership would run. And we were able to harvest over 1,200 pounds just within our first year, using only volunteers, using the ground that was already laid out for us. So this year we have a plan of expanding those plots. As you know, the fairgrounds does use a large amount of that green space just west of or east of the parking lot. To be able to utilize for their different festivals and events that they have throughout the year. So we don't have any intention of taking over all of that space. But that being said, we are planning on expanding within our green space that we have right now. And these would mostly be in ground. We've also been great, really graciously resourced by the Lyle Hot Air Balloon Festival that essentially closed their doors and gave all of their beer troughs to us, which we were able to then reutilize and reclaim into large garden beds. And those have been put on forking pallets, and they become the showcases of gardens, more modern features that they can use as parking ballards and dividers for especially during boating season. So we have a lot of space and a lot of potential here. And the reason why we're here is because initially we were talking with Joy about the potential of having the county come in and help out with some of our plots. We are really excited about the idea and thought that that would be great. The plots are actually situated in a space that would be perfect for a project of that nature. And we're already running plots. We already manage them. So to be able to work in partnership with you all would be great. We also, during that discussion brought up something that really would tremendously just innovate this county, and it would be to be able to do a winterized garden. How can we grow 4 seasons out of the year, all year round for our families that are facing food insecurity? This past year, we also, along with our partnership with Jim, we entered into a licensing agreement with a national organization. It's a mobile app called Fresh Food Connect. And the concept of it is to empower home gardeners to be able to connect with a local food pantry and to donate their extra produce over to food pantries in need. And so we've been able to develop in our first year some marketing material to be able to hand out to local residents that may live near a food pantry and never had any idea that they could donate to a food pantry, which a lot of people don't recognize that is a need and a demand that they can supply, but also that there is a way to be able to do it efficiently. So our app essentially just gives some really basic tools, the hours of operation, the wish list, things that they can grow, some tips. And then once they get part of our newsletter, then they get that information as well. So in that whole process, we started recognizing that there were farms outside of DuPage County, but we're open to providing in any location, and also farmers markets within the area that really wanted to see their food waste go to places of need. And so we started utilizing that to be able to close that loop. We've recognized that there is tremendous potential here. We're working with the county as well for an EPA grant to be able to divert some more of that food waste, make that into something that really could operate 7 days out of the week, and work with farmers outside of their farmers market venue to be able to actually go to their farms and glean for them. And if that were to pass, we're going to have a lot more resources to be able to do that more efficiently. that would work really well with a potential winterized greenhouse. We're looking at about $200,000 for the actual total cost of the project. It would be about 18 by 36 greenhouse, which would be highly efficient and substantial enough to be able to push out a lot of food per week. One of the biggest issues that we've seen, and I'm sure we could have many people speak about this, is that the way that the supply chain has shifted and changed, that there are a lot of restrictions for some of our smaller food pantries that have really been disadvantaged in getting food equity and food access that would be comparable to some of our larger food pantries. So our larger ones that have ample volunteers, maybe have the right vehicles and maybe have connections with local farms within the area, they already have just a constant pool of material that's coming in. Whereas some of our smaller locations do not receive much produce at all because they are sort of last in the totem pole. They usually request a small amount. And some of ours, which we surveyed in this past year, are even paying for $200 to $250 per week in groceries, specifically just to buy it off of the shelves. So this would be a tremendous help for a lot of our food pantries. And we've been able to do a lot of research, a lot of surveying already to be able to get some of that information in place so we would know where to be able to direct some of that produce. Do you have any questions?
Great.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Patty.
This is actually phenomenal.
Yeah.
What a
Good
great
stuff.
concept, great ideas. You know, I know you probably already know Naperville has a garden plots in downtown that people rent from the park district. So they're serious about their growing if they're going to pay a price. And they do donate to the food pantries. I will say that in talking with the chairman of one of the largest food pantries in the area, their donations from stores are way, way down. And I know we go to the stores and we see a lot of the product not even on the shelf. So they're struggling right now to be even to get that additional product, even if they have a system in place. So that's something to consider. And they've also seen an increase of people coming to the food pantry. It's like 6,000 people a week that come to Loaves and Fishes right now. The increase, a lot of it is our seniors who can't afford the electric and the insurance and their mortgage and their taxes. So the only thing they can cut is their food. And so they're ending up at the food pantry. So I think a lot of what you're doing will speak to a lot of need that's out there right now. And I think this is a great idea. I mean, it's the way to go. So thank you for
Colin,
that.
did you have a question?
I just a comment, well, question too, I guess, you know, Jeannie, it's so great to see you, you know, we've worked together for years. You know, for the 18 by 36 greenhouse, I mean, are you looking to do that as a normal greenhouse or hydroponic or what kind of a greenhouse are you thinking of doing?
Yeah, I think we're probably not going to do hydroponics.
Okay.
You know, I think that there's potential for expansion, but there are a lot of other systems that work better for hydroponics from what I understand.
Okay.
So yeah, we would probably be doing a little bit of in-ground. So we would probably try to create a foundation that would have a little bit of space in the middle to be able to grow.
What kind of produce do you think
well
you can grow in the winter then?
you know, it's going to be a lot of greens. It would be, yeah, we would have, you know, I think we have thankfully a lot of models of different locations that have been able to do different models of growing. So it would be full season. Be a lot of radishes, a lot of root vegetables, and yeah.
Well, it's a great idea. Anytime we can get any kind of fresh produce to our food pantries is a wonderful idea. And our other work we do is great.
Cindy, go ahead.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. Sounds wonderful. 2 comments. One, is the greenhouse planned on the plot site now here at the county? Is that what you're looking to do?
Yep,
Yes.
so we have not located the actual location just yet.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And then in terms of timing of the EPA grant, how does that work? Do you reapply for it? And then how long does that take and so forth?
So we applied for the grant.
We already did.
We did.
Okay.
We will know in October
Okay,
whether we
wonderful.
receive that grant.
And would that fund the entire project or would we need to, okay.
No, that
So-
did not account for the greenhouse. That was strictly that would purchase a refrigerated van for the
Okay.
food recovery from the farmers markets to deliver to the smaller food pantries in the county.
Okay. So how would we propose to fund this
Well, and
greenhouse?
I was just saying, let me hand it over to Nick.
So if this is an initiative that the committee would like to pursue, this would qualify for ARPA funding because it goes toward food insecurity. If that is the will of the committee, my recommendation, I mean, it's a $200,000 ARPA ask at that point. It would have to go through finance committee for a presentation. And then the full committee then would have to make that recommendation to the allocation.
But we have a timing also on the ARPA grants in terms of when we have to use them up, correct?
They have to be allocated by the end of 24, spent by the end of 26.
Okay. All right, that's good to know. Thank you.
Well, as chair, I think this is a wonderful idea and I would love to see this go forward to finance and county board. Show of hands, would that be appropriate at this point?
if you're just looking for support.
Everybody, well, thank you all, and thank you for your presentation this morning. What are hot vines? What, you said something about hot vines.
Oh,
Hops,
hops,
okay.
yeah.
I'm like,
Surprised
I'm
to hear
darned, I don't know
that.
what hot vines are. Okay, hops, I like that. Good. Thank you, everybody. And next we have a presentation from our partner Scares.
Morning, everybody. Jeez. So one way you guys can help all our food pantries is if you don't bring your bags to the grocery store and you use paper bags with handles. All of our food pantries need paper bags. So we get them from Windermere here in Wheaton. They bring us several hundred every week. We'll actually pick them up. And we get those to 3 different food pantries. 200 bags cost food pantries about $37. So people, if they go to Jewel and get the handles, or Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, anything with the handles, those are sturdy bags for people's food. So we save $37 every 200 bags. The bags are reused. It's good for the environment. That's $37 people can use to buy more food for people at the food pantry. So it's an easy thing to do. People drop them off. You've picked them up for 2 different food pantries in West Chicago. We're now working with a 3rd food pantry in West Chicago, the Glen Ellen one and the Elmhurst one. But there's a lot more paper bags out there with handles, you guys. So the ones from shopping at like Nordstrom or something, those bags are not sturdy for food. You need the grocery bags with the handles. It's a simple, it's reuse and it's saving them money. So
Can we get a collection site right here at the county?
wouldn't that be great?
The office does collect them and well, a lot of them we use for newspapers that go to the animal service. So we are kind of doing some
Today, I have
recycling
them
in there,
my
yeah.
closet, so-
No, but I'm happy
Yeah.
to, you know, we can probably find a place for that.
Yeah, that'd be great. But
See you
it's,
often enough.
I mean, $37 doesn't sound like that
No.
much, but every 200 bags and you're talking 6,000 people, that's money saved.
I'm gonna move you
Sorry.
towards your
Yes,
presentation.
so what number, we took teachers and community educators like Catherine to the group facility before the fire this weekend. So I'm really glad that we were there. You guys see all the tanglers, the plastic bags and the wires and the, yeah. And you know, they clean every day. Second thing you need to see in that picture, you see the guy to the far right? Do you see that pile in front of him of cardboard? And that bin right next to him is where the garbage goes. So if anybody brings the recyclables in plastic bags, that chute, they just pull the plastic bag out with recyclables, drop it down the chute and it goes to the garbage. So this has been a great picture for us to add to our presentations to let people know that if you put your recyclables in a plastic bag, they're going directly into the garbage. There's nobody at 600 tons a shift that can rip open plastic bags to pull out the recyclables. And look at the plastic bags hanging there. So go ahead. I don't have.
Next slide.
So we had our teacher workshop March 3rd, and there were 21 teachers and 4 community leaders joined us, and we did waste audits, examples, and we did a lot on contamination. So teachers know what's happening when students and staff put the wrong things in their recycling bins. Go ahead. And that's just kind of an update of students, Whittier School in Downers Grove, with their waste audit. And the kids are really learning what can go into the bin by this hands-on kind of a project. Go ahead. So thank you for joining us. Paula just left. And Sheila, of course, and Ina. How do you pronounce it? Yep. And Liz for joining us. Villa Park Early Childhood. They had 2 programs for the Earth Flag, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. Villa Park has just been doing great things. You know, their conservation committee is over 20 years old. where they meet 3 to 4 times a year with teachers and leaders from each of their schools who have their environmental clubs. And their superintendent leads those meetings, and it is really a great effort in that district. It's the only district that's been meeting for over 20 years on the environment. Go ahead. So Chicago Glue and Machine earned their Earth flag, and Sheila was there for that presentation there in Itasca. They did just so many, it's a small company. They did so many great things, but if you look on the right, they get rid of all their styrofoam. They bought a dishwasher. They have reusable cloth napkins, dishes, cups, bowls, plates, stainless steel, everything. They got rid of it all. And their club is so cute. Their Green Team SOS, their glue company, stuck on sustainability. It's really fun what they've done. Go ahead. The design challenge is coming up in 2 weeks, and we have 20 teams already. They have till this Friday to get their applications in, their registrations in, but we are really looking forward to it. 6 towns, 7 different schools so far. Go ahead. So upcoming flag ceremony, Edison Middle School coming up April 13th in the morning, and then several organizations are in progress for their Earth flags coming up. Go ahead. Guitars. So, you know, we try to get things reused. So first of all, guitars come to us. We have volunteers who check them out, repair them if they can be repaired, get them to Guitars for Vets. It's a veterans program, different ways for schools to use them, but then creative reuse. So guitars that are not worth putting strings on, that are not able to be repaired, they're using for creative reuse. So we get those things reused as much as we can. Go ahead. Musical instruments, we got a grant from the DuPage Foundation. And we're so grateful because a lot of the instruments that get donated to us are not usable as they are. And schools that need instruments also don't have the money to get them repaired. So we've been working with Elman's in Naperville to get those instruments repaired and usable. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's not going.
Next
No,
slide.
it's not going. It's going on my machine. Let me reshare. Oh, there it goes.
So we got another grant from the DuPage Foundation to start repair the 4th R. So we had a knife sharpening. I got to tell you, this guy's from Naperville. It was so personable. It was amazing how much people learned. We learned a ton, and already people are asking if we're going to do another workshop like that. It's so personal. You can't do like 60 people. Well, you could, but you'd have to do it different. But this grant money is funding the speakers who are coming and doing a great job for us. Go ahead. We had our second one was on bikes. We had a great turnout. People brought bikes for donating. People brought bikes to see what's wrong with them. And then they learned how to repair tires and what kind of tools to have with them. Maintain your bike so that it doesn't need any repairs and it's usable. So that grant money has really helped us a lot. We have 2 more planned for May. One on garden tool sharpening, and at the May 6th event. And then we're doing a lamp repair. Teach people the wrong bulbs really can cause a fire. People repair lamps on their own and cause fires. So got a great Dr. Harms, I think his name is. Yeah, he's way up there in smarts, but he is going to be doing that, leading that workshop. So we've got 2 more planned for the fall at least. Go ahead. And then recycling events. We've already had 3 events, Lyle, Addison, and Wheaton. My maid decided, no, we have about 600 cars at Wheaton. We have had rain, snow, wind, and cold for 3 out of 3. Not very fun, but it's important to know that in these 3 events alone, 182 cases of books, so copy paper cases of books. It's a lot of books that are not going just to be recycled or not going to the landfill. It is huge turnout. 652 pairs of glasses for people to be able to reuse, and 56 boxes of holiday lights. So I mean, these are just huge events, and we are so grateful for the towns that do this with us and help promote it, and the residents who come and wait in lines. But these are really, we have, I think, 6 in April alone. Go ahead. So these are the ones coming up. It means we work every Saturday. And we're hoping that we don't have too much more snow and so forth, but we are really grateful. So Clarendon Hills, this is just their 2nd. Hinsdale, this is just their 2nd. So we are really glad that these organizations are working with us, and it'll be Darien's 2nd. So they're growing in popularity and in the amount of items that these folks can bring in. We were able to collect at the Lyle event smoke detectors. So we got 109 smoke detectors in 1 3-hour shift. So that was great. That's almost a bin full, about 125 can fit in a bin, so we'll be able to ship that out soon. But these events have become really important to the residents, a great way to reduce our garbage and a great way to reduce our hazardous waste. We did a tremendous amount of medicine and sharps at the Wheaton event. We'll be doing that at the West Chicago event, June 3rd, and we'll be doing that at the Darien event in October. I think, is that our last slide, I think? Oh, Where's the Way exhibit is at the Downers Grove Library for the month of April, and it'll be at the Woodridge Library for the month of May. And that blue background, that is all 100% post-consumer recycled milk jug plastic. And we've been helping libraries now with their community cupboards. I didn't even know about community cupboards. I don't know how many libraries have it, but we're working to find out. But Addison, Glen Ellen, and Downers Grove, these are brand new things that are left over or very, very good shape things. Downers Grove does take food. Glen Ellen's does not take food. So we're working to find out which libraries are doing different things. We get so many things scarce that are brand new from businesses or families downsizing or moving or whatever. So we've been able to share with all 3 of those community cupboards now for families in need. And then the garden market is coming up that David brought up that we will be at. We are selling compost and people are pre-ordering that, pre-ordering rain barrels and pre-ordering organic seedlings. So it's kind of a fun event. And we hope this year we'll have good weather. It poured last year the entire time. But we had 400 people who came to the garden event last year. And so we're really hoping that we have good weather this year. I think that's it. Thanks so much, you guys.
Thank you, Kay. All righty. Do we have any old business this morning? Seeing none. Any new business? Seeing none. Without objection, we're adjourned.